I don't think we're getting shot by missiles, but I think having
Well, I mean, the point of it is to
idea.
prevent. The point of it is to deter. Like if there's, if Russia were to say, okay, we actually can't attack the United States and reliably, rely on MAD anymore, mutually assured destruction. We can't rely on our missiles getting through both the Iron Dome, bombers not being intercepted by F-22s. If we are that technologically advanced, then it becomes a whole totally different conversation. What Russia's going to do, what China can do, because if we were to have this particular weapon system, right? So say it gets built, then China can't move on Taiwan.
So, I mean, so they're comparing it to the Iron Dome, right? The Iron Dome is a system used to defend Israel from relatively rudimentary rockets and missiles from Hezbollah and Hamas.
Hezbollah is not rudimentary. The Hamas stuff, Hamas is
relative to like a supersonic missile or something that Russia or China could make. These guys are making bomb missiles compared to the Russians and Chinese.
Most missiles are going to go faster than the speed of sound. Right, they're supersonic.
I guess my point is the technology leap would be a lot bigger for the enemies that we'd be dealing with, and like this might be effective against a.
Why do you say that?
Because I think the missiles that China or Russia would be trying to shoot would be a lot better and probably get through most of our air missile defense.
Why do you say that?
Because it's harder to shoot down a missile than it is to shoot a missile at somebody. A lot harder, probably hundreds of times as hard, and you could overwhelm the system. So, like, they were comparing it to the Iron Dome, and the Iron Dome is effective because Hamas and Hezbollah and Israel's, relatively weak regional enemies, they were able to defend against. But, like, once you get past a certain threshold, I don't think it's a weapon that it's a defense system that's like necessary.
What I'm asking you is, why is it just like, well, I don't think, because I assume that China and Russia
and China have a lot better rockets and many more.
They're not rockets; they're missiles.
And also, I'm backing up a lot too. Is like they're gonna have a payload. Like with Russia and China, if they're launching an ICBM, there's gonna be a serious payload. With Hezbollah, they're just
but the point that I'm making though is, if the technology is there. Right. If you're saying I doubt the technology, that's a legitimate argument. If you're saying, okay, I don't think that we actually can make that technology. I don't think we could actually make this work. Right. And that's the argument that you're making.
I don't think we're getting shot by missiles like Israel is. Israel needs the Iron Dome because they're being shot at with missiles. We in the United States don't get shot at with missiles in that way. So I don't think not yet, it's not needed. So if we did have, like, I don't know, at the southern border, some of these.
A B-2 is $100 billion, right? One.
Sure. Okay.
And that was, I think that was when they came out when they were first released in the 90s. So I don't know what they cost now. I think an F-22 is on the same, something like that as well. So one of them, if it's the cost of 2 F-22s, even if it's the cost of 4 F-22s.
This is 6 Doges. We've cut 60 billion so far. This is expensive.
Well, it depends on how you look at it. If you're talking about, I don't know how many F-22s are in a squadron, but it's more than 4, right? And an F-22, again, I'm not exactly sure, but they're on the order of $75 to $100 billion or something like that per plane.
I'm hawkish. I love weapons. What is the use case?
I think I might have one for
is the point.
There was an article a while back talking about the Chinese testing missiles that go through the South Pole, because right now our missile defense systems, because of the Cold War and all that, they're geared towards going over the Arctic with the USSR, and unfortunately I can't talk about, I don't know much about the actual mechanics, but there was an article about how the Chinese are trying to test out missiles that can go to the South Pole and return to China, and I don't think that our missile defense systems are geared towards that kind of entry point. So that would be, if that is actually correct. This article, I think, was at least within the last year or so. I can't quite remember. If that is correct, I think that's a good reason to try it.
Phil, I don't think the missile defense system is the deterrent. I think the nuclear strike back is the deterrent. Just so we're.
If you don't have the capacity to strike the U.S. and take out U.S. silos and U.S. missiles before they launch, and you're never going to be able to take out submarines, right? But if you don't have the capacity to take out ground-based missile silos and take out the airfields where planes take off from. Like if you render your strikes, the U.S. renders the strikes totally useless, and that's a deterrent. If you get rid of the abilities, your enemy's ability to mutually assure destruction, right? You're getting rid of their ability to assure your
but
destruction.
they're not deterred by us being able to stop their weapons. They're deterred by us destroying them.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.